Hey, how's it going guys, Chris here, and today I'm going to be checking out one of those new weapons from Battlefield 1's Turning Tides DLC. This guide's going to be all about the M1917 Trench Carbine, a semi-automatic gun which functions a little bit differently to your average bullet-spewing, fully automatic assault class weapon. If you're wondering why the Trench Carbine looks a lot like the C96 pistol, well, that's because it was developed around it. The C96 was a pretty powerful handgun for its time, so why not utilise that power to create something with a bit more usability up on the front lines. The M1917 was designed to be a compact, lightweight weapon suitable for use with assault parties during trench raids in close quarter environments, and so it had a lot of similar features to the C96 pistol and its laser carbine variants. Not just in the way it looked, but also in the way it worked, as the weapon was practically based around them, chambered to use the same 9mm parabellum round the Red 9 pistol variants used, which were issued to German troops during World War I. It also had a fairly similar fixed stock and foregrip to the C96 carbine, which was developed around that very same pistol too, a gun which we can also find in Battlefield 1 wielded by tankers and pilots. But the later made M1917 Trench Carbine had something that the pistol and previous carbine variants didn't: the ability to hold up to an impressive 40 rounds within its double stack, double feed detachable box magazines. And unlike the pistol, the gun's receiver had no stripper clip guide. So in the year of 1915, the German army began searching for a strong weapon to issue to their stormtroops, ideally one which could fire in full auto and perform well in close quarter trench combat. So this led to a bit of a race amongst big weapon manufacturers, as many tried to create and adapt their already existing designs to fit this requirement. Because Mauser's C96 was a popular gun already used by the Germans, it became an ideal candidate to develop. But it wasn't until 1917 when Mauser's Trench Carbine variant was finalised and submitted for evaluation, during the late stages of the Great War. Although the M1917 didn't exactly meet the specifications set out, with it only firing in semi-auto, just like its main competitor, Luger's PO8 artillery model, the Trench Carbine was definitely considered, but never actually chosen for several reasons, whereas the artillery Luger was, despite having a less ergonomic stock. Mauser's M1917 Trench Carbine probably would have been a better fit for trench raids, especially with it having such a large ammo capacity, but the guns would have been more expensive to manufacture. Plus, German officials worried that the production of a brand new carbine-type weapon would divert effort away from the manufacture of Mauser's already existing guns, such as their pistols and rifles, which were already very common in Germany's arsenal at the time. The M1917 was rejected, with only about 40 copies being made in total, and Bergmann's fully automatic MP18 was later selected instead, to arm elite stormtroops for new aggressive infiltration tactics organised by the German army. But anyway, if you want to unlock Mauser's Trench Carbine in Battlefield 1, there's a couple of things you're going to have to do first. Now obviously, being a Turning Tides DLC weapon, you're going to have to own the Premium Pass or standalone DLC and have that installed. And then there's a couple of assignments which you'll need to go out and complete. The first task is a pretty easy, straightforward one, as you'll just need to get 15 kills with sidearms. Just hop into a couple of team deathmatch games and use the pistol of your choice to rack up those kills one by one. Then the next assignment requires you to get 5 multi-kills, so it might be a little bit trickier, as you basically need to kill multiple enemies at the same time or in rapid succession for it to count. Just take out tanks and vehicles with several people inside them. Though you could always just jump into a plane and drop a few bombs on enemy packed objective points, which should also do the job pretty quickly too. So let's get talking about those juicy statistics and see what the gun's all about. Probably the biggest surprise you'll find about the M1917 is that despite often seeming like a fairly weak weapon that takes quite a lot of bullets to kill, not including the shotguns, the Trench Carbine is actually the strongest assault class weapon in the game, not only dealing a higher amount of damage, but also being able to sustain that damage over longer distances, giving it improved range over the fully automatic SMGs. The gun dishes out a maximum damage of 28 up to 17.5 meters, which then drops down over distance to 15 at 39 meters. So it's typically capable of killing an enemy with full health in 4 bullets at those closer ranges, up to 22 meters, but it could take up to 7 to take someone out beyond 34. These damage readings are exactly the same as the tanker pilot C96 carbine, allowing the gun to kill in 1 less bullets than other assault weapons in most situations, with the likes of the MP18 and Hellriegel killing in 5 bullets up close and 8 against someone in the distance. It deals the highest damage in CQC and matches up to the Ruby Rolls' power further away. And when it comes to those headshots, that power is going to be boosted even more, bumped up by that 1.7 times multiplier. This will give the Trench Carbine the ability to kill in just 3 rounds up close, and a shot to the skull is going to be enough to increase that damage high enough to bring an enemy down in 1 less bullet at range 2. So although it's still going to take quite a few shots to do the trick, it'll definitely help to reduce that time to kill a bit, which might be a crucial aspect to winning a gunfight against another player, especially a medic or scout player beyond close range. Now, despite packing a stronger punch than a lot of the other assault class guns, the M1917 Trench Carbine happens to have the slowest fire rate of the bunch, which heavily impacts the time it takes to kill an opponent. It might kill in less bullets, but you're only going to be able to shoot at 360 RPM in semi-auto. And with the lack of a fully automatic option, this means that you're going to have to spam the trigger to reach the gun's optimal fire rate, which is definitely encouraged when taking on those targets. You're basically going to be firing at the same speed as the support class's Shosho, which is a gun that deals a lot more damage over pretty much all ranges. But the balance between the weapon's power and speed still allows it to kill a little bit quicker than the SMG-0818, but unfortunately not quite as much as everything else. So if you come across an enemy wielding an Automatico or Hellriegel in close quarters, they're going to have a slight advantage, and there's going to be a lot more pressure on you to be more accurate, as you'll need to land those shots bang on target if you want any chance of coming out of that battle alive. The Trench Carbine has a slightly faster muzzle velocity than your average assault weapon, with those bullets whizzing through the air at the speed of 460 meters per second. So not quite as quick as the Ruby Rolls, but still enough to reach targets further away a tiny bit faster. You'll still need to lead another player's movements, shooting slightly in front of a running enemy in the distance, but not quite as much as you would with some of the other assault class guns, making it a more reliable weapon for mid-ranged engagements. Easily the best thing about the M1917 is the fact that it's just a really bloody accurate gun. It's not quite as precise as the SMG-0818, but with it only having a vertical recoil value of 0.3 and a horizontal value of 0.12, you're still going to be able to stay on target very easily as you fire away. This is complemented by the fact that the weapon only has a first shot multiplier of 1 times, unlike most of the other assault guns which have higher first shot figures. And because pretty much every shot is the first shot, being a semi-automatic carbine, you don't have to contend with any extra kick that might come with the gun's fire whilst you're tapping away on that trigger. Not only does the M1917 have a pretty solid recoil pattern, but it also has the same low hipfire spread figures as those trench variants too, which kinda makes sense with it being a trench carbine. And this means that it can take advantage of those low kick readings whilst firing from the hip, boosting its usability of being an effective run and gun assault weapon even further. These accuracy advantages can often help to reduce the time it takes to kill, as although most of the other assault guns can technically kill quicker having faster fire rates, they're often more prone to missing shots, down to having higher recoil and spread values, especially beyond close range. And because the Trench Carbine performs so well when firing from the hip, it can often be better just to spam shots at your target using hipfire, giving you the ability to strafe around, avoid incoming bullets, and generally be a bit of a slippery target to try and hit, having that increased mobility and maneuverability in gunfights. Plus, by hip firing, you'll also cut out the time it'd take to aim down those sights too, thus allowing you to start shooting a tiny bit sooner, which is often a key factor to winning battles with other players, especially within the M1917's optimal killing range up close, where you're likely going to run into the enemy more often. Another factor which gives the Trench Carbine an edge over most of the other assault class weapons is its ability to hold a hell of a lot of ammo. Having an overall capacity of 41 bullets, with 40 per magazine and an extra round in the chamber for good measure, this is going to give you plenty of shots to take on multiple targets one after the other, and definitely promotes the use of spam firing the gun to reach that maximum fire rate. It doesn't really matter too much if a few shots miss, as you've got more than enough bullets to take care of several opponents per magazine. And because you're firing singular shots in semi-auto, rather than spraying them all out at once like a lead-spewing hosepipe, you can control how much ammo you're using a bit better, meaning you'll be wasting less bullets in the process, and so you might not have to reload quite as frequently. With that said, it doesn't really take very long to reload should you need to, with a tactical reload lasting 2.1 seconds, so the same as the MP18, and a full one taking 3.5. These times are pretty average as far as assault reloads go, but with the assault class being predominantly used for CQC battles up on the front lines, most of them have fairly quick reload times anyway, which definitely helps assault players survive in those hectic situations behind enemy lines or when attacking hostile positions head on. Because the M1917 has both a large ammo capacity and decent reload speeds, these factors go hand in hand pretty well, allowing the wielder to keep battling on. It makes the gun more reliable and makes you a less vulnerable target in the process, having lots of readily available bullets to blast out at your disposal. But anyway, in conclusion, the M1917 Trench Carbine is a bit of an outlier for the assault class, as although it plays by the same rules as the SMGs, being a weapon designed for fighting the enemy head on, it does so in a completely different way, making it quite possibly one of the most interesting guns in the whole game. That slight damage boost usually allows the weapon to kill in one less bullet than normal, but the slow firing, semi-automatic nature of the Trench Carbine prevents it from being overpowered, increasing that time to kill, thus making it a less effective gun for dispatching targets quickly. This hinders its effectiveness of being able to compete with a lot of the faster firing, fully automatic SMGs in CQC. And when it comes to those close range duels, the M1917 isn't exactly the deadliest thing to whip out, which might put a few players off. There's a lot of pressure to land shots, but this is made easier by the M1917's steady recoil pattern and low hipfire spread, making it a very manageable weapon to use. Where other assault guns might struggle to hit targets further away, the M1917 won't have as much of a problem, so it might be a bit more effective than those just beyond those closer proximities and perform more reliably at medium ranges too. Those large magazines and swift reloads are also going to complement the weapon's usability up on the front lines, and it's usually best to spam shots at your enemies and take advantage of the fact that it can hold so much ammo. Being a more manoeuvrable target while shooting from the hip will definitely benefit you even more. You'll be able to dodge incoming shots and strafe around to get on target more effectively, which will also make you trickier to hit, confusing your enemies with those unpredictable movements, thus causing them to miss. And this will often give you more time to land those 4 shots up close, taking them down in a one-on-one gunfight. The Trench Carbine probably has more in common with something like the auto-loading 8.25 than the SMGs, shooting at the same speed in semi-automatic. Though the auto-loading 8 can kill in less bullets, whereas the M1917 can hold more rounds and has more precision. It's definitely a skill-based weapon that rewards good aim, quick reflexes and smart maneuvers, and it offers the assault class something a bit different to use. Something which is reliable that can be really effective in the hands of a good player, having a lot of beneficial stats to broaden its usability over a wider range of situations. So that's just about it for another one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the guide and found it useful. Hit that like button if you did, and subscribe for loads of other videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that next episode.